Hello friends, welcome to my channel JM Learning. Today we are going to learn the electrical machine testing methods part 1, in which we are going to discuss the direct testing method of electrical machine. Before we discuss these methods, let us first know the need and importance of doing electrical machine testing. The first and very basic need of testing of any electrical machine is to know the values of various parameter of machine, as the machine is to be operated as either motor or generator for certain useful purpose, that is applications. We need to monitor the various parameters. So in order to monitor the parameters, we require to test the values. So it required to do the testing of machine. The machine, when it is being manufactured in the certain organization, then the manufacturing is being done as per certain design data, so that whatever design data parameters are being estimated, it is need to verify these parameters, and it can be done only by doing the testing of electrical machine. The third need is to check the certain parameter during installation work, as the machine is manufactured in the manufacturing organizations. It is being transported from its the manufacturing base to the destination place. So during these transportations, there may be change in the parameters, so we need to verify certain parameters whether they are as per the given by the manufacturers to the purchaser or customer. The fourth need is to verify the parameter values in troubleshooting in maintenance of machine. When the machine fails or during our regular or routine maintenance, we need to do the troubleshooting. We cannot do the troubleshooting until only we know the values of various parameters of the electrical machine. So to verify this parameter whether they are as per the standards given by manufacturer or not, so we require to do the testing to get the values of these parameters and compare it with the standards given. The fifth need is to compare the values with tolerance limit. Every parameter of electrical machine is being provided with certain tolerance, that is the upper and lower limit. So we have to verify whether the parameters are on the tolerance limit or not. So it can be done only with the help of doing electrical machine testing. Now what are the methods of testing of electrical machine? Now in the electrical testing methods, we are having the three types, that is the direct testing, then indirect testing and regenerative testing. All these three methods we can do for the testing of electrical machines. In this particular video, we are going to learn on direct testing of electrical machines. So first let us know what is the definitions or concept of direct testing of electrical machine. In this particular method, the electrical machine is directly loaded with mechanical or electrical load to calculate the various parameter of given machine. That means if the machine is being motor, we have to give the mechanical load to that particular electric motor, or if the machine is a generator alternator, then we can load it by use of electrical loading. It means that the name itself suggests that we are going to test the machines by directly loading depending upon its nature of work. Now we'll discuss the direct testing as applicable to the three-phase induction motor. The three-phase induction motor can be tested directly by this particular setup as shown in the circuit diagram. You can observe in this circuit diagram that there is a three-phase squirrel cage motor. The motor is to be provided with a brake drum arrangements, because we have to load it to get the various parameters. On the input side, we need to connect the various meters to get the input parameters, like we have to know the current flowing through the motor, that is the input current, then the voltage appearing, that is the line voltage, then the input power. Input power can be calculated by use of two wattmeters, that is W1 and W2. Now this whole of this setup will be provided with the auto transform starter, or depending upon the machine's ratings, the starter may vary. We require to operate the machine with help of the 3-phase AC supply along with the ICTP and whatever the protective devices needed on input side. Now here the two wattmeters are connected in a special way. A wattmeter W1 whose current coil is connected in R phase, while the wattmeter W2 whose current coil is connected in the B phase. The pressure coil of both wattmeters second terminal marked as VV are connected together, and they finally being connected to the Y phase line as shown in this figure. So this connection is very important. If the wattmeters are of the analog type, then we need to calculate first the multiplying factor of wattmeter. This multiplying factor should be multiplied by whatever the reading obtained from the W1 and W2 once we test the machine as per the process. Now the brake drum arrangement it also need to be correctly done, that is S1 and S2 readings should be 0 initially. That means when we operate the motor at no load, that is the first condition, the load must be 0 on the brake drum. So that care must be taken before we test the machines. During the testing process, we need to observe the readings and note it, like the ammeter reading, that is the current I, then the voltmeter reading, that is the line voltage, then the reading of W1 and W2, then the reading of the brake drum, that is the spring balance reading S1 and S2. Then also we need to measure the diameter of the brake drum, taking into account all the thicknesses of the brake drum and the rope or pulley arrangement, whatever it is used during the testings. We have to do the testing starting from the no load, then we can gradually increase the load, maybe as per our requirement, that is 5% or 10%. We can operate the motor up to 100% and up to 110%. So number of readings are required to be taken during these testings. So it will be a time consuming process. At the same time, we must take the enough care to cool this brake drum, because when it being loaded, it will be heated because of the losses. So this care should be taken. Whatever the readings we have obtained, we can do the evaluation of various parameters that now we'll discuss. So whatever reading just I describe you, that reading will be helpful to calculate the performance parameter of the 3-phase induction motor. The synchronous speed we can get from the specification motor itself, that is Ns is equal to 120 F upon P, where F is the frequency of supply. In India it is 50 Hz, P is the number of poles of the induction motor. So speed will get in RPM. From that speed and the major speed during the testing of the motor, that we are calling as NR, the speed of the rotor. So we can get the slip of induction motor by S is equal to Ns minus Nr divided by Ns. If you multiply by 100, then we get the slip in the percent. Now during our loading arrangement, we have taken the reading of S1 and S2, which are the spring balance readings. So we can calculate the net force by subtracting the S2 from S1. We get that force in the kg. We can get the load torque by using this particular equation, that is the W. We may call it F also, that is the force into D by 2. D by 2 will be of course the radius, where D is the diameter of brake drum. We have to carefully measure it. Whatever torque we got is in kg meters, so we need to convert into Newton meter in the SI unit. So multiply it by 9.8. So once we get the torque, we can able to calculate the output of the given motor, that will be given by 2.80 upon 60, where this N will be the NR, that is the rotor speed, T is the torque that we have calculated in our third performance calculation. In that way, we will be able to get the output power, and that power will be in the unit watts. Now the next calculation we need to do is the input power. As we are using 2 wattmeters, we have to only add up the reading of 2 wattmeters. Before we add these two readings, we must multiply it by the given multiplying factor, because suppose if the W1 is having multiplying factor of 2 and its reading is 100, then it will be W1 will be equal to 100 into 2, that is 200 watt. If the W2 is having multiplying factor of 4 and we get the reading of 100, then it will be 100 into 4, that is 400 watt. So in this way, we have to put the readings of W1 and W2 here, make their sum, and we'll get the input power of the machine at the particular load condition. By use of these two reading, that is W and W2, we can calculate the power factor angle of the 3-phase induction motor. That angle will be tan of that angle will be equal to root 3 multiplied by W1 and W2, their difference, divide it by sum of the reading of W1 and W2. If you take the inverse tan of this value, then we will get the power factor angle of the induction motor at the given loading conditions. So for each reading, we can calculate the power factor angle. Now the percentage efficiency of motor we can get from this particular equation, that efficiency is equal to output power upon input power. If you multiply it by 100, we get the efficiency in percentage. So for all the loading conditions from no load to full load and above as per specification of motor, we will be able to calculate all these parameters. Now all these parameters, whatever we do the calculations, we can put in a graphical way. So that is shown in this particular slide. The x-axis will denote the percentage of the rated load. We can get up to 100%, and as per specification motor, we can load it 110, 120%. For every reading, we will obtain the values of the slip, current, power factor, efficiency, and we can plot them on the y-axis, where x-axis will give us the percentage of rated load condition, and y-axis will have these different parameters. So the nature of the curve are shown here. Whatever the input current that is being taken at the no load condition will be this much value. Corresponding to that input current, whatever the power factor, we can calculate it from W and W2 reading. Efficiency at zero loading will be 0, because when load is 0, the output power will be 0. So efficiency will be 0, and it will gradually increase. Then it will have a saturation within this region, and after it decreases, power factor of 3-phase induction motor starts improving from no load to its rated load condition. So from this graph, we can conclude that the power factor will get its maximum value at its operating condition, that is full load condition. Slip is also going to increase, because as the more and more output we are getting from the rotor, it will slow down, so the slip will be increased. So in this way, we can plot this performance curve for various parameters, and we can get the complete performance characteristics or data of the given 3-phase induction motor under testings. Whatever we have discussed is the direct testing of electrical machine. So let us list the advantages of direct testing. The first basic advantage is that this is suitable for the small capacity equipment, machine, and transformer. As we are loading the machine directly, so we can study the temperature rise, that is the increase in temperature of various parts of machine can be monitored with help of the various transducer or sensors. So temperature rise can be calculated. In case of the slip ring type induction motor, we can observe the sparking at the brushes. That is the advantage of direct testing. The result obtained as will be more accurate because we have no assumption here. Whatever the readings, considering the accuracy class of the meters, we get the better accurate reading during these testing methods. The calculations are simple as there are no assumption here. This particular method will be suitable for indoor testing, that is in the industry or the laboratory. Along with the advantages, let us list the disadvantages of direct testing. In this particular testing, as the machine is to be loaded directly, so there will be large requirement of power. So that's why we cannot recommend this kind of testing for the large capacity of electrical machines. During this testing, as I earlier discussed, that the breakdown is to need to be cool because more heat is going to be generated during this process. This particular method require more time because we have to take the number of reading at different loading conditions. Each and every meter is reading is to be recorded along with the speed, so time required will be more. The connections are more and difficult as each and every parameter is to be monitored or to be noted for the performance calculation, so connections are complicated and more. We require to put the actual load, so that loading arrangement must be available to do this testing by directly loading it. This kind of testing will be less safe as when motor operate at its rated condition, there will be high current flowing through the circuit. So safety must be properly ensured before we conduct this test. This particular method require more number of equipment and meters, as we have just seen in the circuit diagram or connection diagram. The person who is doing this testing need to have the technical skill and knowledge. So these are certain disadvantage of direct testing. In short, we can apply the direct testing methods to the small capacity machines that can be up to 20 or 50 HP or 10 to 30 kilowatt rating of the electrical machines. For higher capacity, this method will not be suitable. In laboratory, we can test the given electrical three-phase induction motor by this kind of direct testing methods. With this, I am sure that you got the understanding of need of doing electrical testing, then the methods of electrical testing, that is the direct, indirect and regenerative methods. And in detail we have discussed the direct testing, the setup, the calculations and the performance curve. This particular video is dealing with the three-phase induction motor direct testing. So this was our first part, that is the direct testing. In the next part we are going to learn the indirect testing of electrical machines. Thanks for watching this video. Do like and share it and also subscribe my channel JM Learning.